The recent assassination of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, on the first day of what is being called Operation Epic, has thrown the Islamic Republic into a state of crisis. This event immediately raises a fundamental question. Is the Iranian regime fighting to protect its territory or its own grip on power? Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who had held the highest office in Iran since 1989, was killed in what has been described as a joint Israeli operation. His death has created a significant power vacuum, triggering a frantic race among factions within the authoritarian regime to fill the void. Hours after the news was made public, an interim leadership council was formed to temporarily govern the country and oversee the process of selecting a permanent successor. On Sunday, March 8th, the 88-member Iranian parliament moved swiftly, electing Mujtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader. The appointment, read aloud on state television by a parliamentary spokesman, was presented as a unanimous decision by the assembly, based on the recommendation of the Iranian Religious Affairs Committee. At 56, Mujtaba, the second of the late leader's 6 children, is expected to continue his father's hardline policies, having long been considered a powerful figure behind the scenes of the dictatorship. This succession, however, has been met with immediate and severe opposition from the United States and Israel. President Trump, who has repeatedly stated his opposition to a hereditary succession, declared that any new leader must have his approval and warned that this leadership would be temporary. Israel has echoed this sentiment, explicitly stating that whoever assumes the role will be a target for assassination. Despite the rapid appointment, many analysts suggest that real power in Iran may now reside elsewhere, specifically with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC. The IRGC is not merely a military force. It is one of the most powerful political and military entities in the country. Originally established in 1979 as an arm of the revolution to protect the new regime from a potential coup by the traditional army, its primary role has always been to safeguard the political regime and, by extension, the power of the supreme leader's family. The 11-day war has inflicted severe damage on the IRGC. Missile storage sites have been destroyed by US and Israeli airstrikes, and several senior generals have been killed. This has led some to suggest that the foundation of the Islamic Republic has been shaken, with the loss of its supreme leader and a significant portion of its military command. However, the IRGC has demonstrated a resilient command structure that allows it to continue operations even without clear centralized control. In the hours following the supreme leader's assassination, various IRGC commanders independently launched retaliatory missile and drone strikes against US and Israeli forces. This decentralized capability makes dismantling the IRGC a far more complex task for the US and its allies. The IRG's strength is further bolstered by a core of committed loyalists, pro-regime factions, driven by a deep-seated ideology that fuses religious belief with allegiance to the Islamic Republic, are prepared to continue the fight. This ideological commitment suggests that while the regime's strategic capabilities may be weakened, its fighting spirit remains potent. It is estimated that while up to 80% of Iran's 90 million citizens may oppose the regime, the IRG's iron grip on the capital, Tehran, remains firm. The deliberate omission of the word Iran from the Revolutionary Guard Corps' name was a choice by the regime's founders, signifying their belief that this force was a tool for spreading the ideology of the 1979 Islamic Revolution, not just for defending the nation's borders. This distinguishes it from a traditional army, which exists to protect the nation and its people. The IRGC was created to protect the revolution from internal threats, such as a coup by the regular army, which was seen as loyal to the former monarchy. Over its 47-year history, it has evolved from a paramilitary force into a dominant player in Iran's military, political, and economic spheres, with its primary mission remaining the protection of the supreme leader's dictatorship. Analysts are now divided on the long-term future of the IRGC and the regime. While recent battles have undoubtedly weakened its strategic capabilities, the force remains cohesive. This unity, coupled with its decentralized command, could lead to a scenario where Iran becomes a state controlled by an even more powerful and autonomous military force. The current war, framed by some as a potential liberation of the country from dictatorship, has created a fluid and unpredictable situation. Many analysts suggest that the coming weeks will be critical, with possibilities ranging from a US-Israeli victory to the overthrow of the Islamic Republic. If the regime were to fall, the IRGC, stripped of its political role, could transform into a formidable conventional army, but its future and that of Iran remains highly uncertain.